Welcome back, everyone, once again to a new installment of Screenplay Rewind. I'm Jeff.
I'm Ron.
Oh my god, we made it through Friends and Family month plus extra week.
Is that why I feel so beat down
Yeah, I've
and
been
so tired?
Just a lot of naps, a lot of therapy. I don't know if I'll ever be the same, but I'm trying. We had some fun times though.
Yeah. There were moments.
No,
I
it was
got
worth the
this-
therapy bills.
I got to sit back and listen to you twice, I think.
Yeah, it's fun times. Fun times. I can't wait to do it again next year.
You said that was such enthusiasm.
Oh, I absolutely love every second of it.
Yeah,
It is the best.
You totally peaked the levels there. I'm gonna
yeah.
have to take care of that.
Yeah, my excitement knows no bounds. No limiter can keep me down. It feels weird being in charge of what we're watching again. I'm gonna be honest. It's like we have like 70 episodes of us picking the shit, and like 10 of people picking stuff for us, and it's like I don't know what to do now, man. It's too much fucking pressure. I gotta pick the movie.
Yeah, I need to keep better track of that. What is this? Is this like episode 74?
I think it's a little
God.
bit less than that. Let's
Damn
see.
it,
I
I'm-
will verify.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go over here.
We had yes, this is 74 because the thing from Another World, our finale of Friends and Family, was 73. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Almost at 75.
Just one away, one might
Just
say.
one away from a very round number, old 75. It feels weird because
Round
it
number.
both feels like we've been doing this show for a long time and also not very long at all.
Yeah. It's when you do it every other week, the 3-year anniversary sneaks up on you. That's in October, dude.
It's also primarily, like during the bulk of the pandemic, and that whole time frame is just a blur of sadness and isolation.
It all blurred. There's like 2 years that are just blurred together into one memory.
Right? Yeah. It's like, man, that sure fucking sucked. And not much happened. So you're just kind of, just stuck inside your house. So the time just blurs.
A lot happened. It was just all horrifying.
Yeah, it's better not to think about it. Did we have any questions this week, Ron?
That's a good question. I'm just going to poke at the YouTube real quick. I didn't even think to look.
Yeah, we're almost at 75. You think we'd be better at it, but we're not.
You would think, well, we're not used to actually getting interaction, and we're starting to.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I'm not seeing any questions inside the email inbox.
I can't get no interaction. Let's see. No, wrong button. Hang on. Nope, nothing.
Got
Wait, no assholes either. Nope, nothing.
Damn, those are the best
Damn,
ones to respond.
I know.
I still love that one upload for Ballad of Buster Scruggs that one asshole decided to type in about generated the most hits out of the channel.
he got us in the algorithm, man.
Yeah.
Haven't you
He gave
figured
us
out
the-
that you're boring and no one listens to you? And that was like our most popular hit.
Yeah, thanks, man. He gave us the alley-oop, man. We just needed a little boost.
It's kind of like that hacker that went into that one Twitch streamer's channel and literally did the speech to text to speech of the dude's full name and address and phone number. So it blared it out to all of his listeners, and the guy was like, "I know," and just kept playing the game. And then after a few seconds, he goes, "Thanks for the $5 though," because the guy had to subscribe to do it.
My goodness.
It blares his home address and everything out over his chat, and he just goes, "I know."
I have a quick question I could propose to you, since we didn't have any pop in for us. So with Michael Keaton coming back and playing Batman again, who is out since Michael Keaton is reprising his role as Batman? Who is someone that you would love to see reprise their role in? It could be like a comic book thing. It could be in something else. Just like someone that you'd love to see come back and play like a certain character.
Well, I already got mine. Because I always wanted Michael Keaton to come back if they did a Batman Beyond movie
Oh, that'd be so dope.
and be old, grizzled, pissed off Bruce Wayne. I kind of got that. I got half of that, and I'm happy with it. I'll take it. Because I don't want them fucking up Batman Beyond.
By the way, did you see the director of the new Flash movie came out and said that they're not replacing Ezra Miller because and I quote, "He's just too good at the role." It's like, really? The guy's a fucking criminal, and no one gives a shit about like how good he is at the role if he's a fucking criminal. So maybe fire him. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Well, a podcast I was listening to also made the point that doing Flashpoint, they are entering like the multiverse, and they can recast Flash without recasting him. It can be a different Flash. So they basically said that they're not. It was worded very specifically. I don't remember exactly how it was worded, but they basically said that they're not recasting Ezra Miller as like this version of the Flash or something. It was something worded. It was worded very, very specifically, and they were talking about how now that they are also entering the multiverse and timelines and all kinds of shit, also like Marvel has done, that they can technically stay true to that and recast them both. Or them. Sorry, recast them both.
Yeah. I also, I don't know if I've told you this. Did you know Aurora was actually an extra in a movie with Ezra Miller? And she got to meet them, and can confirm Ezra Miller is a piece of shit.
Oh, yeah. No, this is known. And I feel very bad for her that she had to meet them.
Yeah, she said that they are just a colossal train wreck to work with, and pretty much everyone on set with Ezra Miller hates Ezra Miller, no matter what the production is, no matter what like capacity it is. So yeah, fuck them. And if they are a piece of shit, I don't think they should continue working. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, remember when actors used to get blacklisted for shit?
I mean, they kind of do now, but then they just get temporarily blacklisted. And then what's weird is people are so ready to fire everyone. It's a miracle that, and especially with how like rocky the DC movies have been, you know, like they basically kind of shit canned the Wonder Woman franchise just because the second movie wasn't well received. And they're going to continue using Ezra Miller as the Flash just because they like them as the character, even though they are like literally a criminal. I don't get it.
Yeah, a felon. Too, when we say criminal, literally
a criminal, like
holding people at knife point and bullshit.
Yeah, he's basically like in the Bad Times of the El Royale, like the way that gang operated is how Ezra Miller operates.
Pretty much,
he's just continuing to work in Hollywood because reasons, and it's some old bullshit, man.
Because Hollywood.
So I can provide my answer if you wanted more time to think about which character or which person you'd like to see reprise the role.
Yeah, sure.
I want to see fucking Carl Urban back as Judge Dredd. Okay. I really wanted to see another one of those because I love that Dredd movie. It'll be on this podcast eventually because I fucking love that movie. I love him as that character, and I'd like to see him back as that character.
The only thing I would counter with is I still want to see Carl Urban as Batman.
That's true.
So, you know.
We also want to see Carl Urban as Indiana Jones, and basically every character we like, we want Carl Urban to play that character.
I still think, as good of a Batman as he would be, I still think he'd be an even better Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I think Indiana Jones would be just absolutely.
I think he's got the right amount of the right kind and right amount of charisma. I think he's got the right gruffness to the way he speaks, the way it's almost like he grew up trying to emulate Harrison Ford or something when he was younger.
Yeah. Because you know how like Indiana Jones with Harrison Ford, you know, always just has that aura of like, I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah.
Carl Urban like can carry that so well, like both with his character in The Boys and also like when he was Bones in the Star Trek movies. You know,
he was basically Harrison Ford as Bones.
Exactly. Yeah, he just has that kind of that aura to him of these fucking kids, and like that's perfect for Indiana Jones.
Can I just my favorite line in all of those Star Trek movies, by the way, is when he asks permission to speak freely, and you know. Spock says he welcomes it, and he's just like, "Are you out of your fucking mind?" That's the best innuendo I think I've ever heard.
I think my favorite scene, just in general with him, was when he was intentionally infecting Kirk with all the diseases to get him on the ship.
Yeah,
he says like, "Now you're gonna break out in sweats. Now your tongue's gonna swell up now."
Numb tongue? You've got numb tongue? I can fix that. Like he's just running around.
It's like, so good.
It just keeps injecting him in the neck. He's like, "Stop that!" Yeah, it's so good.
Who would you like to see reprise a role?
Let's see. I don't know. My answer to that question was always Michael Keaton.
And now you're getting it.
And now I'm getting it, so I don't know what to do. My life has peaked, Jeff. I can't move forward from here. I'm like running through everything I love. Here's the thing. Everything old is new again. So like we got Harrison Ford back, both as Han Solo and Indiana Jones. We're getting Michael Keaton back. Like it just seems like everyone is reprising their shit. I don't know. Like I said, that was my Peter Cullen came back as Optimus Prime like almost every single time.
It'd be cool if the entire cast of The Losers could reprise, even though that budget couldn't be sustainable now because of how much everyone blew up after that movie.
No, that wouldn't be feasible. But if they did like if they continued where the movie left off in like an HBO series, oh, it'd be so good.
Like a more obscure one that I would like to see come back and reprise a very specific role because I'm just kind of browsing around my Blu-ray shelf right now. Clive Owen as his character in Shoot 'Em Up would be really fun to come back and make another movie with because
that would be good.
Always really liked him as that character.
What is Clive Owen doing?
I don't know.
He just kind of vanished.
He pops up every now and then in something. He was in that.
And God. we're getting Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine, so we're getting that.
Yeah,
like every one that I would want is coming back or has.
Yeah, he came back. What was that? It was like an HBO or Cinemax show. I'm trying to find out what it was, but yeah, he was in like a pretty recent like hit of a TV show.
In the third Jurassic Park movie, we had the original cast also. We had Sam Neill, we had Laura Dern, and we had Jeff Goldblum in the last like 2 or 3 of them.
The Nick, that was the name of that show. That was supposed to be really good. I just never got around to checking it out. Did you know Clive Owen was in that Valerian and the City of 1,000 whatever? 1,000 Planets? So 1,000 Planets. Did you know he was in that? I didn't know he was in that.
Is that the one with Meg and what's the guy from the dancing movie?
This is the Luc Besson movie with Dane DeHaan, Cara Delevingne,
okay,
Ethan Hawke. Okay. If you saw like the poster of it, I think you remember this movie coming out. I don't think either of us saw it.
I'm thinking of something else, clearly. What? My brain totally just went blank. What is the actress that plays Meg? What is her name?
Meg from Family Guy?
Yeah.
Mila Kunis.
There we go. Jesus. IMDB has a banner at the top of the page. It's Michael Keaton in the Batwing.
Hell yeah.
Jupiter Ascending is what I'm thinking of.
Oh yeah. I think those movies came out like right around the same time, and everyone kind of hated them, so they just kind of blurred together in everyone's minds.
I think that's why I get them confused. I don't think this is the first time I've done this.
Yeah.
I don't think I know this movie.
Valerian?
Yeah. Dark Force threatens Alpha, vast species.
I feel like we talked about it before because it's Luc Besson.
We did cover a couple of Luc Besson movies.
Yeah, we covered Lockout. I think we talked about it when we reviewed Lockout.
I can't think of Herbie Hancock without thinking of, is it Tommy Boy? When David Spade's like, I'm just gonna need your John Hancock, and Chris Farley's like, John Hancock, it's Herbie Hancock. I think of that every time I hear Herbie Hancock's name. Yeah, I don't think I know this movie.
I feel like we talked about it, and you knew of it at some point, and it was so forgettable that it just left your fucking memory databank.
Here's the thing: did I know it, or was I thinking of Jupiter Ascending?
That's true. Yeah, you might have been thinking about the. It was like that was Channing Tatum, right?
That's the guy from the dancing movie I was trying to think of.
Yeah. Magic Mike. That's the dancing movie you're talking about.
Oh yeah, he's in that too.
Wait, what's the dancing movie? If it's not Magic Mike with him that you're thinking of,
isn't he in?
Oh, is it Step Up? Was that the one
Step Up.
There you go. There you go.
See, that's what I think of because that's the first time I saw him. I just had to screen that movie.
fucking 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon to figure out a movie title.
I'm so tired and my back hurts and I'm getting on a plane soon. Actually, by the time people are hearing this, I'm on the plane.
Yeah, Rod's going on vacay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were supposed to record this last night and ended up getting delayed today.
Yeah, we probably should have. I think I was in a better state last night than I am right now.
No, if you're in a worse state, that usually leads to better recordings.
I'm definitely punchy right now.
Yeah, just go shotgun a Red Bull. You'll be fine.
I'm halfway through a V8 Energy.
All right. Yeah. Let's. So you didn't have an answer for the actor reprisal? I don't think.
I don't think so. I've either got them or already gotten them, and I can't.
That's fair.
I can't.
It's tough to pull. Basically anytime I have to answer a question without being prompted ahead of time, I basically just cheat and browse over my Blu-ray shelf, and then just like rummage through ideas in my brain at the time, because like I can look through it like movies I have and just kind of like spitball like actors out of them or whatever.
What's his face from New Girl is one of my favorite Spider-Mans I've ever seen, and he's in the second movie also that's hitting theaters today, I think. So he's Peter B. Parker.
I love Peter B. Parker.
Peter B. Parker gives me hope that I too one day could be Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's like pudgy, like middle-aged Spider-Man. It's like, yes, please.
Yeah,
got a bad attitude. That sounds exactly like me.
That and Fat Thor. Like they finally started making superheroes for my demographic.
I love that in the new Thor, they took the time to show him
the training montage.
They showed the training montage.
When he's got the chains in slow motion.
I'm so glad they showed that, because that was fucking gold. Because most of the time I feel like they would have just, 1 year later and he is just skinny ripped Thor again. But the fact that they showed him fat again and having to lose the weight made me happy. I love that.
What was your overall take on that movie? Because I've been slowly finding out that I feel like I'm the only person that likes Love and Thunder.
I really, really liked it. I hate oh god, what? Jane? Is that her name? I hate her as a character, and the fact that she was pretty much like the focus point of that movie made me like it a little bit less. But everything else I loved. I loved the villain. Christian Bale as that character was awesome.
Dude,
what
Christian
they did with him, like the black and Christian Bale is amazing in it, and what they did with the cinematography every time it turned into the black and white realm was fucking incredible to see. I probably still like Ragnarok better, surprisingly, because I was anti-Ragnarok at first, but then started to like it more over time. But I really liked Love and Thunder.
See, I've been hearing and reading people saying that basically because Ragnarok exists, they hate Love and Thunder, and I'm like,
that makes
why not?
Absolutely no sense.
Why
it's
not
the exact
both?
same. It's the exact same tone. How can you like one and not like the other one? It's a fucking Taika Waititi Thor movie. That's like saying Guardians 1 is so good that Guardians 2 can't exist. It's like that makes no sense. It's the same fucking tone and the same fucking characters.
Here's the thing. I really did not like Ragnarok the first couple of times I saw it. It grew on me over time. Love and Thunder, same. I fucking love that movie.
The goats made the movie.
Dude, fucking Zeus. Russell Crowe as Dick Zeus. I fucking love it. I don't know. I love it so much more than Ragnarok. Like I like Ragnarok, but even in theaters, like I could finish actors' lines before they saw them. Like I just saw everything a million. It seemed very amateurish.
But that was also kind of like that cheeky tone is exactly what they were going for. You know, like that's why they went and got Jeff Goldblum, because Jeff Goldblum is fucking born for that type of movie. You know?
My god.
And he's hilarious in that movie.
The slaves are screaming, whoa, no, but, no, I don't like that word. No. The prisoners with jobs are escaping.
The prisoners with jobs. See, I think Love and Thunder doesn't get enough respect for the villain. Because I actually sympathize with Christian Bale's character in that, like way more than 99% of the MCU villains, who are typically just cannon fodder to get their ass kicked in the third act and have like no point to them. But I really liked his character, and I mean obviously it's Christian Bale, so he'd fucking act his ass out on a fucking commercial, you know? So if you give him an actual
selling
role
used
like
cars.
That, yeah. I really liked it.
I don't know how we got off on this tangent, but I fucking love Love and Thunder, and every time I hear someone talk about how bad that movie is, I'm like, but I love that movie so much.
Yeah, I usually they don't really have like a baseline for their dislike of it too, because like they'll say something about it that they dislike, and then I will counter that is exactly what happens in Ragnarok. They're so similar in tone and like the only thing that's different, and I get it because I also just dislike her as a character. I wish they hadn't made Jane such an important character. I would have rather spent more time with Valkyrie because I thought Valkyrie was a much cooler character than Jane.
I don't like Jane. I don't like the actress either, but I kind of liked her as that version of Thor. I don't know why. It just kind of that actually just kind of worked for me, and her powers being set different than Thor's was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
The hammer shattering out like a shotgun and coming reassembling is so fucking cool.
I really like the part where she died. That was really cool.
Spoilers, Jeff.
I mean, I don't care. I just gave someone out there an incentive to go watch the movie if they hadn't already, because Jane dies. I love the interstitials with Taika Waititi as is it Korg? Is that the rock guy doing the narration? When he's like, he's always fucking up her name. It's like, and Jane Fonda came to the rescue. That part was funny.
You are uninvited from the orgy. Then I had to explain to my kids what an orgy was. Thank you, Marvel.
All right, well let's get into it. So spoilers for The Princess Bride, which is
35 years old, just something
30,
like that.
30 years,
36.
It's like I can't. It's too late for math. What's 13 and 23? Like 36 years, something like that. I think so. 36. Quick math.
It's the
spoilers.
It's the same page as my wife.
I would have bet my life that you had seen this movie, so I was dumbfounded when I picked this.
I have seen the memes. I've heard the references. I've never seen the movie.
Yeah, that fucking shocked me because I felt like everyone had seen The Princess Bride, but I found the one guy. We'll do the cast and crew and everything, and then kind of jump into it. This is directed by Rob Reiner, who most people don't really think of as a director, but have you ever looked back at his kind of catalog from the mid to late 80s?
Nope.
He had an insane string of directorial efforts. Like, check this out. Okay, so it's around the same time he does The Princess Bride, right? This was 87. I'm finding his... Okay. So this is his fucking string of movies. I'm on acting. Let me talk. I hate IMDb so much.
I hate IMDb.
New setup, where you can like toggle between like director and writer and bullshit. Yeah, I hate. Okay. Spinal Tap, Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, and A Few Good Men. Those are all in a row. That's crazy. Those are a lot of like pretty notable movies from the like late 80s and early 90s.
And of those movies, I have seen Misery and Princess Bride.
Really? You haven't seen Stand By Me?
Nope.
Oh, Stand By Me is really good. I really like that movie. One of the few Stephen King adaptations of one of his things that's not horror. That and like Shawshank. Like, dude, like the only one.
Misery is so good.
Misery is fucking amazing. Like, think of the directorial tone of Misery versus The Princess Bride. Like, that's a lot of rage for Rob Reiner. And I feel like he's kind of underrated because if you just watch this and watch Misery, you're just like, that's the same dude? It's like, really?
It's so weird seeing James Caan as not the villain. And Kathy Bates terrifies me to this day because of this movie.
That scene with the foot.
Like, the sledgehammer.
The sound effect of that happening haunts me to this very day.
She just slowly and methodically sets the wood between his legs and...
Oh my goodness, it's fucking brutal, dude.
Yeah,
I just want to point that out. I feel like most people don't associate Rob Reiner with directing, but like, dude had like a crazy run there for a minute.
I'm trying to remember. In the Family Guy version of Misery, wasn't it Brian was James Caan? Was it Stewie that was Kathy Bates?
I think so.
I don't remember.
I think it was.
It's so good.
Also, take a drink because we reference Family Guy. I think that's on the take a drink segment now. We've been referencing Family Guy a lot lately.
That's also the episode where I think what causes Brian's car wreck is he hits Stephen King with his car. And Stephen King is flying through the air and he goes, oh, this would make a great book. And he just sits there and starts writing on a notepad with a pencil. And when he hits the ground, he goes, done. Like, so good.
All right. Your writer is William Goldman, who had also written the novel. This is based on. Sorry, what's up?
Hang on, real quick. Rob Reiner, is he any relation to Carl Reiner?
Yes, he is his dad. I'm pretty sure.
That explains a lot, I think. Because isn't Carl Reiner Mel Brooks's like best buddy?
I'm pretty sure.
Like they did Get Smart together, and they did like a ton of different different movies together and stuff. Yeah, that I think that shows in this movie.
This movie has a lot of that energy.
Yes,
in it for sure.
Has a lot of Mel Brooks energy in it.
A lot of Mel Brooks energy to it. So it is written by William Goldman, who had also written the novel. We will go into some of the differences between the book and the novel later, because I think they're really interesting. And I think it's actually a really, really great piece of adaptation. I don't know how much you know about the novel as far as like you know how this has like the meta part of it where it is the grandfather and the kid reading the book?
Yes, and the instant that I figured out that's what was going to happen, I just laughed to myself because there is, I don't know if this is the movie that started it, that trope or not, but there is a slew of movies in Mystery Science Theater that are all that same format.
Oh yeah, it was. I guarantee they're all ripoffs of this because the Princess Bride was fucking huge. Like, it was very influential around this time, I would say.
It's yeah, there are so many Mystery Science Theater movies that are that way and that are narrated by Grandpa and stuff.
So what's interesting is like the meta frame for the movie is the grandpa, reading the book of the Princess Bride to the grandkid, right?
Right.
Well, like the original novel that William Goldman wrote, he is in the novel himself, and he's basically presenting the story as an abridged version of a book that his father had read to him as a child, a historical account of the kingdom. So and it's funny, it's like the narration in the book, it states that he found the entire book to be really boring, so he abridged it himself for the good parts of the Princess Bride. So basically the way he adapted it for the movie is he took the good parts and made it the book that the separate grandfather is reading to his grandson. And I found that kind of like interesting. Like the book, I haven't read it, but it's apparently like much more meta than the movie is. And I think that's a smart choice to make it very lightly meta, where it's just a few scenes. Like, what are they on screen in total of like maybe like 5 minutes?
Something
Peter
like
Falk
that.
and
which is why I always wonder, like, why is that even necessary?
It's not at all. I mean, hey, it's an excuse to have Peter Falk on screen. That's okay. It's fucking Columbo, dude.
Put him
I'm
in
okay
the
with
movie. Not don't make him the grandfather. Put him in the movie. Make him a weird guy.
Yeah, they do have a lot of cameos of weird guys.
Yeah, they do.
As this, let's get into it with the cast. So this is Cary Elwes, probably his most famous role, I'd say. And everyone knows who Cary Elwes is. But I feel like his career, you'd think he would have ended up doing more after this because it was such a huge hit, but he hasn't really done a whole lot outside of this, which is a shame because I like Cary Elwes in this.
So I know him from Robin Hood Men in Tights mostly. And I absolutely understand why they cast him in that movie after seeing this. This had to be what got him that movie. It's absolutely, his character is very similar.
He's really fucking charismatic. It's weird that he's
attractive. He's charismatic. He can do physical comedy. He's great at just comedy in general.
Dude, his physical comedy at the ending of this movie that we'll talk about is hysterical to me. Like when he is pretending to not be able to move.
When he's Chris Pratt trying to escape the lava in Fallen Kingdom.
It's so good. I love it.
Yeah, I don't know where he kind of disappeared to. Like one of the most recent things I remember him doing is Liar Liar. And that's
the most notable thing I feel like he's done over the last like several years was his role in Saw. He's in the first Saw movie.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's the main guy in the first Saw movie.
Interesting.
And then comes back eventually.
But
really, like you would think he would have done more major roles after this and Robin Hood Men in Tights, because he's just so fucking good and he's so likable.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
We have Mandy Patinkin as Inigo Montoya, one of my favorite characters from the movie.
And the reason I never knew Carrie Elwes was in this movie is because every meme is always of Mandy Patinkin. Yeah. Excuse me, I have to go Patinkin.
Because the Inigo Montoya is probably his main quote is probably the most quoted movie. I mean, this movie is like full of like really good quotes, but that's probably the most quoted part of the movie, I'd say. You have Robin Wright in here.
Yeah, you do.
That you have this was actually, I think, her first role, because I think in the credits it says like introducing Robin Wright, and for her first role, like, she's really good in this, I'd say.
Yeah.
She isn't given as much to do because just everyone else has such good material to work with as far as like comedic one-liners.
Dude, she has the best one-liner of the movie because of her delivery.
Which one would you say?
She's like, this will be the last time I'll be seeing you, as when I get to my room I'm gonna kill myself.
Won't that be fun?
It's so good. Her delivery on that line makes it the best line in the entire movie.
It's really good. It's really good.
Because it's so matter of fact and just kind of like, what the fuck?
You know what's like funny too is her other major film role would be probably Jenny from Forrest Gump. But I don't think you ever watched it. Did you ever watch House of Cards?
No. I know she's in that.
Yes, she plays the wife of Kevin Spacey's character and is the co-lead of that show. And she is intimidating as fuck and awesome and like brutal in that show. So to get to see her in this versus House of Cards after having watched that, in its entirety, Robin Wright has really great range as far as just how kind of like innocent and charming she can be, but then like on like a dime just become like really intense in that show. Like you should watch if you don't intend to watch the entire show, because I understand it's like hard to watch Kevin Spacey material now because of what happened with him, but if you just watch like some of the best scenes of House of Cards with her, like she's crazy good in that show.
Yeah, she's a really good actress, but she's just not one that I have a lot of experience with. Mainly what I think of when I think of her is that animated Beowulf movie.
I never saw that. Was that any good?
Yeah, we had it in IMAX. We built it up and screened it. It was IMAX 3D. It was one of the early digital conversions. It wasn't really made in 3D. But I want to say she was married at the time to Robert Zemeckis, and he was putting her in everything. Because I want to say she's also, doesn't she have like a bit part in Christmas Train movie? How did I forget the fucking name of that movie?
Polar Express?
Yeah. Because he did that.
Back through her stuff.
She's in Christmas Carol. That's also Robert Zemeckis. Robert Zemeckis uses her a lot in stuff, and they're all animated and all in IMAX. But it was the digital conversions. Robert Zemeckis didn't use them for a while, and Beowulf was notable because when he finally did start using it in Beowulf, it was actually good. Like, it wasn't as good as like Polar Express, because Polar Express wasn't digitally converted. It was a digital movie, but it was made kind of using the same technique as the way they film 3D. And Beowulf was actually a conversion, and it wasn't Polar Express, but it was pretty good on the 3D.
I'm not seeing her. I'm not seeing her as being a part of the Polar Express, but she was in Beowulf, and she was in A Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
So she was in a few of those around that time, that type of like animation. But I'm not seeing her as a part of Polar Express unless I'm just missing it.
Dude,
she was also most recently probably people would recognize her from the Wonder Woman movies where she was Antiope.
See, I didn't know that until tonight.
Oh, you didn't know that was her?
I didn't know that was her until tonight.
She is very unrecognizable in those movies, especially with her accent.
Yeah.
She's kind of like following along with Gal Gadot's accent, which they use as the foundation for all their accents.
Can I just sell you on the Beowulf movie real quick?
Yeah. I was always curious about it. I just never got around to watching it.
Robert Zemeckis, Neil Gaiman, Ray Winstone, Crispin Glover.
Did Neil Gaiman, did he write it?
He did.
Okay.
Ray
Let me see Neil
Winstone,
Gaiman.
Crispin Glover, Angelina Jolie, Robin Wright, Anthony Hopkins,
Jesus Christ, that's a good guess.
John Malkovich.
Malkovich?
Uh-huh.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's
So
a good
if that
guess.
doesn't sell you, I don't really know how to get you to watch that movie.
I feel like we should have Being John Malkovich on the show just because of how fucking weird it was.
I
And
never
when
saw
I first
it.
watched it. When I first watched it, it was so fucking bonkers. I couldn't really like wrap my mind around it. Do you know the basic plot line of that movie?
No.
Being John Malkovich is about this guy being at his office building, right? And he
Does
finds
he give the man his money?
I shit you not, he finds a hole in the wall of his office that when you walk into, you come out the other side and you are John Malkovich. That is the literally John Malkovich the actor. That is the plot line of that movie.
That,
And it's so fucking weird and specific. I kind of want to cover it on here just to watch it again.
That sounds like a John Malkovich ass movie.
Right?
Did I tell you that in the Aragon movie, one of the reasons I was so angry about that movie is they wasted perfect casting because John Malkovich is the evil king.
Oh, that's a shame that they based it because I love me some Malkovich, man.
You see his dragon and everything at the end of the movie.
Man.
Yeah, because he's supposed to be the last dragon rider. He killed all the other ones.
Gotcha.
So
All
yeah,
right, let's try to the rest of this cast though. So we have,
let's just keep talking about John Malkovich.
let's just keep talking about John Malkovich. He's not in this movie. We have Chris Sarandon as Prince Humperdinck. I swear to God, I've seen Chris Sarandon on something else recently. He
Any
is
relation to Susan Sarandon?
maybe. I don't know. He is the voice of Jack Skellington when he's not singing. That's pretty interesting.
Really?
Did not realize that was him.
I thought Danny Elfman was Jack Skellington the whole time.
I always thought that too, but apparently he is the voice of Jack Skellington.
Dude, that is done so seamlessly. I never realized it wasn't Danny Elfman.
Right? Yeah, it was really well done.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Also, Danny Elfman can sing. I don't know if anyone realized that was the singing voice for Jack Skellington or not, but goddamn.
Yeah, he's amazing. What's This is something I listen to all the time near like Halloween and Christmas time. I always love that song.
I don't know why, but the meme of him holding the snowflake in that song and just the subtitle saying "What the fuck is this?" makes me laugh so hard every time.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Because I always hear it in Danny Elfman's voice.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
Yeah, we have Christopher Guest, who plays Count Rugen, the man with six fingers.
Guest, be our guest.
Now, how much did you love Wallace Shawn as the
Dude.
CD of this? Because he's hysterical in this.
Okay, if you need a shrimpy, nerdy loser, you get Rick Moranis. If you need a shrimpy, nerdy, loudmouth, annoying guy, you get Wallace Shawn. They play the same roles, just 15 degrees off of each other.
He was so fucking
He's
perfectly
so good.
cast.
I mean, at this point, especially having kids, I mainly know him as Rex from Toy Story. But
but I don't want to use my head.
But dude, oh my God, every movie Wallace Shawn is in, he's one of the best characters.
The scene when he's talking about which poison the goblet's in.
Which, by the way, I called when I watched it because I was like, the only thing you could do is put it in both.
Put it in both.
But yeah, it's so obvious, which is part of the bit, right? It's so obvious what he's going to do. And he goes on this long dialogue about which one it could be in. And I'm like, dude, it's in both.
You want to know how smart I am? Socrates, Plato, moron.
Oh my God.
The dialogue in this movie is fucking astounding because they're like just some lines. It's so like witty, it catches you off guard because it's like that Mel Brooks thing where it's like it's more witty than you expect it to be in the type of comedy they're portraying.
Right.
You know what? I absolutely.
This movie, what it actually kind of reminds me of, it's got some like Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner energy to it, but really, while their stuff is usually more like physical gags, right? Like lend me your ears, everyone pulls off their ear and throws it at him and stuff, and the shoe phone and Get Smart. But what it really kind of reminds me of, if you've ever seen any skit from Monty Python,
yeah,
especially the ones where like someone's behind a desk and there's a two-sided conversation going on and it works together. Like most of the funniest skits from Monty Python are all heavy dialogue and nothing else happening. And that is what this movie is doing very well. It reminds me a lot of, like, you know, who are you? I'm King Arthur. King? I didn't vote for you. Like, it's, you know, it's a lot of that type stuff in this movie, not so much physical.
The Mel Brooks one that it most reminds me of, as far as like kind of like leaning on what you're saying, as far as it being focused around mostly dialogue and a little bit of slapstick, but mostly dialogue, is like Young Frankenstein. Frankenstein is very heavily like based on its dialogue. Instead, it has its moments of slapstickiness, but you know how it's like mostly trained around the dialogue and focused there.
Well, the thing that's interesting about that, and then one of the reasons why we need to have it on the show actually, is because it had to be
on Young Frankenstein.
Like,
what the fuck's wrong with us?
So, like, Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner had set out to do like at least one movie for every genre. And when you get to like Universal monsters and classic horror movies and stuff, we talked about this on the thing from Another World. Your budget and your effects were so limited that it would be dialogue. It would be scenes full of people. So that's what Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner had to work with in that movie. So it's a lot less slapsticky and more dialogue based than a lot of their other stuff because of it. Because they were emulating that kind of movie. They had to.
Yep.
It's a very different but still very good movie. We need to get that on the show sometime.
I'm actually shocked we haven't had Young Frankenstein on the show yet.
There's a really good story. There's a really good story in that documentary I keep recommending every time he comes up. What is it? Play It Loud? Something like that. Make a Noise. It's Make a Noise.
Yeah.
Mel Brooks talks about how he managed to keep that movie black and white, and it's amazing because the studio wanted to colorize it.
Of course they did.
Yeah, and he tied their hands so good.
How dare them question Mel Brooks, by the way? Get the fuck out of here. You try to challenge Mel Brooks on a comedic decision?
There's a scene in that documentary for Blazing Saddles when apparently Carl Reiner is talking about they sat down at the heads of the studio and they're like, okay, look, you can't use the N-word. And it does this supercut of all the times they use the N-word in the movie. And then it's like, you can't have a Native American punching a horse, and it cuts to him punching the horse. Like, you can't have a farting campfire scene, and it cuts to the farting campfire scene.
That's amazing.
Apparently, everything they said, Mel Brooks is sitting there like, being very professional, listening to them, writing it all down. Like, okay, yeah, we'll work on that. We'll take that out. We'll do this. And when they leave, according to other people, this isn't Mel Brooks telling the story, like, according to Carl Reiner and other people, as soon as they leave, he tears that page off, crumbles it up, throws it in the trash can. He told him, yep, we'll do all of those things. And then he just threw it away.
Oh, man.
It's so good.
That's awesome.
Anyways,
how likable is Andre the Giant in this movie?
This is the first time I've ever seen him. I've never even seen a picture of him. I've always just heard the name.
He is so good in this movie. He's so likable. Like the way he just delivers his lines. Like that first scene when they have him just kind of like rhyming shit with Inigo on the boat.
Yeah.
You immediately love like everyone in this movie you're supposed to love. Like they make them so charismatic and so likable just instantly. Like you're so drawn to them, and just like the scene he's talking about throwing the rock at Wesley is so fucking good. And he's talking to him, he's like, you know what, you actually have an advantage. I'm used to fighting several guys at once. It's a lot different when you're fighting one guy instead of a half dozen. So good.
Is this the movie where he legendarily had like a 30-second something fart?
Probably.
And like everyone just stops what they're doing until he's done, and then like the director or something was like, are you good? And he's like, I am now, boss. Like, there's this legendary story about Andre the Giant on a movie set.
It's probably this one, I would imagine. Dude, and just like that scene towards the end, when he finds Inigo, when Inigo is like really drunk and just plastered on the front porch of that house, and you see that fucking
like the
Mandy
montage of trying to fucking sober him up.
It's so good. But Mandy Patinkin's like entire torso is the size of Andre the Giant's hand, and you're just like, Jesus Christ.
I like how through the whole movie he just keeps grabbing people by the back of their shirt and just lifting them up. He does it like 18 times. Oh, it's so good.
when Wallace Shawn is giving him shit for not being faster at climbing the rope when he's doing it like Superman speed with 3 guys attached to him. He's like, he has no one attached to him. I have 3 people attached to me. Oh my god. This is one of those movies. This is one of those movies where it's 90 minutes long. It feels like a 30-minute episode of like a comedic TV show to me when I'm watching it, because it just it blows by. And it's just like like, there's some movies for you and some shows are just kind of like almost like a comfort food where you can just kind of like have it on the background and sometimes just kind of like veg out to it, and it's just always just like a welcome addition to your day. Like this movie is one of those for me.
Yeah, it's
like this movie is just so likable and so charismatic. I can't help but like smile when I watch it every time.
If you dialed like Monty Python back from 11 to like 8, I would say that that's pretty much what this movie is.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, agreed. Let's see. We have let's go back to the cast. As we already mentioned, Peter Falk, Columbo himself
is the
as the grandfather.
I fucking love Peter Falk, man.
I love Peter Falk too, and he's so good at this. Like when he just starts shit talking the kid. Like,
dude, has Peter Falk ever had a role where he wasn't instantly likable? Even if he's a shitbag, he's instantly likable.
Yeah, he was so fucking likable as a dude that like, no matter what he said or did in the movie or TV show he was in, you love the dude.
Like, I just want to sit down and talk to Peter Falk, you know?
Yeah, what an absolute legend, man. The grandson is played by Fred Savage. Probably his most famous role, which is kind of funny because he's in the movie for like 5 total minutes of that. Yeah. And then the rest of the cast, probably the most notable kind of cameo is Billy Crystal's Miracle Max.
Is Billy Crystal ever not awesome?
I don't think so.
Even if you don't like the movie he's in, he is awesome in it. Like Billy Crystal is always just the best. And I want to be called Miracle Max in something. I don't even care if it's just Dark Souls. I want to be awesome. Miracle Max. That's such Miracle a great name.
I love when they have Wesley and his dead ass corpse on the like table in front of him, and he holds up his arm and just lets it plop back down. He's like, I've seen worse. Oh fuck, I love this movie. So we've covered the majority of the cast. Let's get into it. So this was your first time watching it out, so basically your only exposure to it being the memes. What was your just kind of like overall reaction to it? It sounds like, pretty positive since you're comparing it to kind of like a slightly toned down Monty Python.
Yeah, it's pretty positive. My biggest problem with the movie is I've already seen Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's basically my biggest problem with it, which is no fault of the movie.
I think that came out after this too, right?
Like 10 years after, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is 87. I want to say like 96 or something is Robin Hood.
Yeah, very, very similar tone. And obviously like with the setting being fairly similar.
Cary Elwes, and he's basically the same character but dialed up a little bit. But like I said, I definitely get why they cast him in Robin Hood. You couldn't cast anyone else after he did this movie. Right. But no, I mean, I liked it. I mean, I didn't dislike it. It's been hyped up for me over the years also, and it survived that. So, I mean, that's saying something.
Yeah. And this is one of those, like, some people will just flat out tell you, like, this is my favorite movie. It's that kind of hype.
I used to work with a guy at the bank that said this is the best movie.
Yeah. The people that love The Princess Bride, like, fucking love The Princess Bride. So the fact that it survived that much hype, I think is a testament to how good it is.
Like, I don't know that I would sit down and watch it again unless like someone I was with wanted to. But I wouldn't be against to watching it again, but I wouldn't seek it out on my own. probably.
I could pretty much watch this like anytime. We watched it a couple weeks ago, and I decided to pick it, and then just went ahead and watched it again today, just as a refresher. And I laugh at all the same jokes every time. I think the characters are just so likable, like especially like Inigo Montoya, Carrie Elwes, and Andre the Giant are just so likable, and all the scenes with Walt Shawn are obviously hysterical because he's just amazing.
I've been trying to think of it all day because I knew we were going to record today. I was trying to think of it all yesterday and all day today. What is the movie that the dude has the poison knife and he's really proud he has a poison knife, and then he does that movie trope of licking the blade, and then he looks at the knife and looks back at the people he was threatening and goes, "Oh crap," and then just falls over dead? Like, I feel like that was mimicking the Wallace Shawn scene, but I can't think of what movie that is.
Let's see. I just Googled it. Poison knife. I feel like I can probably find it here pretty soon.
Oh God. Embrace dark mode websites. Oh, I think this is it.
Is it a movie or is it a TV show? It looks like it might be a TV show.
I don't know.
Based on what I'm seeing.
Oh my God. None of these links work. Hiro Yoshiko and the Demon King's Castle.
Yeah, I think I just found it too.
Oh, I don't know what year that came out. Yoshihiko, sorry.
Were you able to find it?
I'm trying. I found the name, but I can't find
the old IMDb.
Yeah. But that's what someone on Reddit said it was, but all the links they have for it are all broken.
Oh, it came out it is a TV show from 2011.
Okay, so they have to be mimicking that in that scene, right?
I think so.
I think very
it's like
similar.
Yeah, I think it's too much of a famous scene for it not to be, a direct homage to it.
But yeah, here's the thing. It was all downhill for me after Inigo Montoya and Wesley, with the scene with him trying to climb up the cliff face and throw him the rope, and then the fight and the conversation they have. Everything after that was just downhill. Like, that was where the movie peaks for me.
That is a great scene. Like their dialogue. You're a very nice fellow. You're a very nice fellow. It's a shame to kill you.
Skit.
You're a very nice fellow. It's a shame to die. That's probably my favorite line exchange of the entire movie. And they're so good too at their back and forth and like the stunt work is really good too. Yeah, a lot of it was done by, you can tell it's them doing a lot of the fencing, and it's impressive, like fencing. Like, they're fucking fast. Like, when they're doing their exchanges,
yeah,
it's fucking crazy fast. Like, you can tell like they put a lot of work into it.
Who are you? No one of consequence. I must know. Get used to disappointment.
I love when he's talking to him on the side of the cliff. He's like, "Can you?" Like, contrary to popular belief, this is not as easy as it looks. So could you please stop distracting me? You're just like, see, I don't think you can fully appreciate like how good the dialogue in this movie is until you watch it like a second or third time, and you're just like, holy fuck! Like, almost every other line is quotable.
But I promise I will not kill you until you reach the top. That's very comforting. I'm afraid you'll just have to wait.
And it's just like, so like, you have the stuff. Not every line in this is gonna make you die laughing, but every other line is something that is memorable and can like bring a smile to your face, and it's so consistent. And like, one of the things I like most about this movie is, good God, it is a breeze. Like, there's, I'm always big on cutting excess scenes from stuff, and just, I think it's a huge problem with Hollywood in general now. I feel like, and we talked about this multiple times, every movie is just like basically like 30 minutes too long unnecessarily, and just like really fucks up the pacing for a lot. Like, even with superhero movies nowadays are like 2 hours and 20 minutes at minimum, and I'm just like, come on guys, we don't need them to be that fucking long. Like, they can be 90 minutes to an hour and 45 and be fine and get your fucking point across. Not everything has to be an epic.
Yeah, everything.
I like how this is so much of a breeze.
Everything we've been talking about with Princess Bride and any of the Mel Brooks stuff or any of like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, any of that type of stuff, you just can't do it today. You just can't. No one can make the same jokes now because the studios don't have the balls. And like, you know, them being afraid of Blazing Saddles because like they use the N-word and all the racist stuff in it. And like, that was the point of the movie. The whole point of the movie is that racism is stupid. And that's all the stuff that they wanted to remove.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Like, you can't make this style of movie today. And if you tried, you're just going to fuck it up. Like, there's this type of movie just can't exist anymore.
And it's a shame. Another one of my favorite quotes from that scene is when he's on the side of the cliff and he says, I have some rope up here, but I do not think that you would accept my help since I'm only waiting around to kill you. Then he says, that does put a damper on our relationship.
I really like that.
Good.
I hate waiting. I could give you my word as a Spaniard. No good. I've known too many Spaniards.
I do not mean to pry, but you don't by any chance happen to have 6 fingers on your right hand. Do you always begin conversations this way? It's so fucking good.
Surrender.
Oh my god.
You mean you wish to surrender to me? Very well, I accept.
Yeah. You just like scroll back through the quote section for this fucking movie. There's so many good one-liners. It's like unfair. It's so fucking like strong, just like all the way throughout with the one-liners.
Your first story was better. Fucking Billy Crystal being low-key dick. I love it.
Oh my goodness. I like the scene a lot with him fighting Andre the Giant, and when he's just like, can you imagine Andre the Giant fucking backing you into a boulder? I'd be dead.
Right?
I'd be fucking jello on the side of that boulder, dude.
I do like each time he does it, he gets more and more winded with his dialogue.
Yeah.
It takes him longer to talk, and he's a lot more exasperated each time. Like after the first one, it's kind of the same, and then after the second time, he's just kind of, and then he gets this wheeze to it after the third time. And it's like he's barely conscious, but he's still talking in the same way. Oh, it's so good.
It's so good. I like when every time Facini is yelling at Andre the Giant to fight, he's like, my way isn't very sportly.
Yeah, my way isn't very sporting. So he gives him a warning shot across the bow.
Yeah, he gives him the warning shot.
And then he was just like, what was it? I didn't find it here. What is it? He says, like, I could just throw the rock again or something like that. And he's like, nope, you have me at a disadvantage or something like that.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to fight him hand to hand. And he's like, no, we'll
yeah,
fight.
He tells him, he's like, yeah, and he tells me, you might have a slight advantage in like physical combat. He's just like, he's basically like, it's not my fault. I don't even exercise. I'm just the strongest in Vegas. He's so good. So fucking good. Now here's the thing too. I actually love the little bit of writing in this movie where, because about halfway through Wesley gets killed, and when he gets revived, he can't fight or do anything. So I fucking love that the entire third act of this movie, your main kind of like Zorro type character that he's, you know, an homage to, doesn't really participate outside of just planning stuff for them. He becomes like their Vicini and just plans stuff for them to do.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool that, and not to mention like the physical comedy, like, bro, when they do the all hands in high five, and he has to like whip his hand twice to get the momentum going to do the high five. I fucking love that scene so much.
Dude, one thing that I was dying laughing at, and this is so Monty Python and the Holy Grail energy, but when the dude runs to the door and shuts the door, and Inigo can't break the door down and just keeps bashing it over and over, and just like, Fezzik, he's getting away.
I need you,
Fezzik. And then he's like, but I can't leave Wesley. He's like, Fezzik, he's getting away. I need you. And he just, like, he's got such a high-pitched, like, scream.
It's great.
And he's just over and over ramming the door. It's like you and me playing Dark Souls when we don't have the key or something.
Oh my god.
And like when something's chasing us. It's like, oh my god.
It's like you've heard me scream like that in a game of PUBG. I was like, it's got the energy of me in that one PUBG clip we had when I accidentally vaulted over the fence into two guys. It's like wrong button.
It just kind of dawns on me if you think about it. Andre the Giant is basically Chewbacca in this movie. He's used the same way. Because
they're very similar.
What made me think of it is I just found give us the key. I don't have a key. Fezzik tear his arms off. Oh, you mean this key? Like, when you think about him just going over and slapping the door and it falling, or the way he keeps picking people up or saving everyone's ass, like if you watch Star Wars, Chewbacca saves everyone's ass like 3 times.
Chewbacca's the MVP. Chewbacca's absolutely the MVP.
And he's just all brute strength. So yeah, they use him a lot like Chewbacca.
I love when Wesley is like talking about all the things. Like, I could have a plan if you have a wheelbarrow. And he's like, where's that wheelbarrow? It's like, oh yeah, we get it from the albino. Well, I can't really do the plan without having the type of coat. And then Andre the Giant just pulls out of his shirt.
Pulls it out of his shirt for no reason.
Yeah, and he's just like, it looks so good. I mean, Max said I could have it. And he just happens to have all the shit he needs for a plan. And it's just so stupid that I fucking
very
love
get
it.
Smart is what that is.
Yeah, very much so.
And I'm not saying that to knock this movie down. I'm saying these are all things I love that are all mixed together in this movie.
Yeah, I figured this type of kind of like Monty Python. It's almost like a hodgepodge.
It really is. It's a melting pot.
If you add like Monty Python and kind of like Get Smart 60s sitcom energy as far as like that kind of like comedy with Mel Brooks, and you add it all together and you just like, it's this awesome blend. Like one of my favorite scenes with Wesley is when they're in the fire swamp. It's like, rodents of unusual size, I don't think they exist. He just gets taken out off screen as it crosses and jumps into him. It's so good.
Well, I'm not saying I'd like to build a summer home here, but the trees are actually quite lovely. No, my favorite. Let me find it. My favorite part about the damn priest is his name is the impressive clergyman. A love, true love, will follow you forever.
His voice.
So twas your love.
And they know what they have
the wing.
Have you the wing? There's just like there's a pause before he starts talking to like they let you basically project this like commanding clergyman voice this guy is about to have, right? So there's this pause as your brain fills in the gaps, and then he's like, "We are count you holy matrimony."
And to you, Princess Boa.
So good. But it is that perfect line of like Spaceballs where it's like, it's so stupid that it becomes genius, and I fucking love it.
Why won't my arms move? You've been mostly dead all day. That's been me the last 2 days. I've been mostly dead all day.
You've been mostly dead.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's just one of those movies where I thought it was like a perfect one to kind of like cut in, right? Like after we had a bunch of episodes back to back, and like you're going on vacation, we have to like bump post recording, because I just feel like this is like just such a charming and likable movie, and it's over in a flash, and it's such like a good just kind of like background noise to have, because like at any time you can kind of like tune out and you can tune back in, and at any moment there's gonna be a scene that can like make you smile. Like there's all throughout something that is just so likable. Like, man, I'm just like scroll back through some of the scenes of it. The scene when they're rolling down the 500-foot ravine. And I can't help but fucking wince, because you could tell it's actual stuntman just rolling down this like fucking 300-foot hill that they're on.
I know.
And it's just like, oh my god.
I know that this is not a reference to this movie at all, but I will forever think of, is it the second John Wick? Where him and, was it Common, are just falling through the stairs and keep fighting, then falling down the stairs, and then keep fighting. They fall down the stairs into the Continental, and they try to keep fighting, and everyone jumps them.
And then they fucking one-up that in the fourth one.
Yes.
Where he walks up like 5,000 stairs, gets to the very top, and then gets knocked down
all the way to the bottom.
5,000 stairs, and you're just watching it, and he is falling for about 5 minutes of screen time. You're just like, good god.
I know they're not referencing this, but Like that, I was just I laugh every time I see that in John Wick 2 because it's so genius, because it's so ridiculous. And then as soon as he started falling down the hill, that was all I could think of. And then instead of going down the hill, she literally throws herself down the hill. Like she doesn't try to run and then fall like you would expect. She literally just throws herself.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Also, as if the movie wasn't out for my heart enough, a major plot point is that Inigo Montoya doesn't immediately die when he gets stabbed in the stomach. I was like, thank you.
Right?
And it's awesome. I also, I don't think he probably put this together because you hadn't watched it as recently as I did, but, you know, I had told you that we had been watching through Game of Thrones, so that Aurora could kind of watch through that since she liked House of the Dragon. Oberyn Martell, the Viper in Game of Thrones, when you think about it, is a direct callback to Inigo Montoya.
Basically.
Down to the fact that when he is having his like revenge scene, what is he doing? He's repeating his one line over and over and over again.
Also,
just like Inigo Montoya, and he's just a play on that trope because he doesn't get his revenge in the end.
It's funny that you bring that up because when I was watching this movie, right around the time he gets stabbed in the stomach, there's a certain camera angle on him that I knew his name at the time, the Mandalorian and Viper. What's
God, I could have told you, but then you asked me.
Narcos. Like you were just talking about him.
Yeah, I will fact check. my brain would absolutely.
Dude, this is the way I've been all day.
Pedro Pascal.
I was trying to think of it before you came up with it. Yes.
Yeah.
If this movie was made today, that would be Pedro Pascal in that role, probably.
Yeah, which is so funny because like Oberyn is Inigo Montoya. Yeah. He's just like that super charismatic, likable dude who's a badass at fighting.
Yeah, I see it.
Has this 20-year revenge plot just like Inigo Montoya. He's just a play on that trope because he loses. You know, he doesn't win in the end.
I want this. I might put this in my Twitter bio. First things first, to the death. No, to the pain.
One of the most genius moments of the movie is when Inigo takes out the 3 henchmen of Rugen, and then he just fucking turns and runs full speed down the hallway.
Yeah. This is the part of the movie where in every movie, the big fight starts. Like the big fight you've been waiting for the whole movie. And it usually spans, well, it's like the fight in Blazing Saddles. Remember, it kept spilling over into other movies?
That's so good.
And they end up, like, getting in limousines. Like, that's what you expect it to be. And instead, he just turns and runs. It's so good.
So fucking good. I love it. Man.
You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
I don't think it means what you think it means.
I knew that line before I didn't even know what movie it was from, but I knew that line. Inconceivable.
Yeah, that was. Oh my goodness,
dude. I grew up watching black and white Zorro, so I loved all the Man in Black stuff because that is exactly the way I remember those Zorro episodes to be.
Yeah, and it's so perfectly like, and like how cool is it that they play on that trope of, you know, that type of character like coming in to save the day. He doesn't really do anything in the third act. He just comes up with their plan and then he fakes out the last guy by bluffing that he can actually fight when he can't. I always like that. It's kind of like ahead of its time with kind of breaking that, because I feel like back then, tropes were only broken for like comedic senses, but that's just like good writing, you know, like it's just a legit good breaking of an established trope in the genre they're working with. You know, it's not it's not till like you think of the last like 20 years or so where people actively started to try to like break conventional story ideas, and that kind of like Joss Whedon angle to it.
You know the meme of like the old animated Batman or like Batman 66, like he just happens to have his shark repellent spray on his belt. Like he always has the exact thing that he needs, or whatever the utter ridiculous thing is that makes him like the best person in the room, right? The old Zorro black and white, I keep wanting to say cartoons. I don't know why. They weren't cartoons. They're live action. But the black and white series I used to watch when I was growing up, I mean, he always had just the skill that he was like Shaggy in Scooby-Doo. Like, if he needed to be a ventriloquist, he was a ventriloquist. Like, he always had the exact means to defeat his opponent, even if it was only for the one episode. And that is what they're doing in that fight with Inigo Montoya, when he's better at everything than Inigo does. Like, he can do the same thing but better. And like the whole I have to tell you something, I'm not left-handed. I have to tell you something, I'm not left-handed either. Like, that is the way all the Zorro stuff is. So and me growing up loving Zorro and seeing that fight, that's why that scene is probably my favorite. But them just keep escalating it to the absurd.
I love how they both open up the fight left-handed, even though they're not left-handed.
Yeah.
And then Inigo thinks he has like this huge trump card. He's like, "There's something you don't know. I'm not left-handed." He just does the same shit back to him.
I'm not left-handed either. Like, what? I think I said what out loud.
I fucking love this movie. This is one of those where if I'm having just like a bad day, it's just like I said, it's like a comfort food movie. I'll just throw it on the back, enjoy some Inigo Montoya.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
Have you ever watched any of the Puss in Boots movies?
I have been meaning to, because of how much everyone fucking loves that newest one. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Universally loves that new one. I have not seen a one. I've never even seen the character in action. I've only seen pictures. I know it's Antonio Banderas,
the
right?
second. Never saw the it's Antonio Banderas. You never saw the second Shrek? I think that was when he was first introduced, right? The second one.
I might have. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Shrek.
I've heard it did not age particularly well, but everyone fucking loves those Puss in Boots movies.
Now I am a fan of Shrek in Bloodborne.
True.
Have you ever seen Lobos Jr. fight? What's the boss called where the cauliflower guys keep growing over and over in the garden?
Oh, the Living Failures.
The Living Failures.
Yeah.
They were all replaced with Shrek. Like the GameCube 3D model of Shrek.
It's so good.
It's so terrifying.
I also like how I could fucking pull out of a hat the name of that fucking DLC boss in Bloodborne, but couldn't fucking tell you Pedro Pascal's name like 5 minutes ago. That's how my brain is programmed to work right now, apparently.
We're actively going through The Mandalorian again from season 1. I should have been able to give you Pedro Pascal's name, but I couldn't. I'm so tired.
My brain is just not where it needs to be right now. I think I kind of talked about everything I had to talk about. I thought this would be kind of like a breezy movie for us to cover before you go on your vacation. I'm glad that you liked it, because it is tough when you are retroactively visiting a movie, right, that has so much hype around it and so much like love. Because sometimes you can go back and watch a movie and be like, really, this is like what everyone likes about. But I'm glad that there's a lot of the scenes that connected with you like comedically, and that you liked some of the characters. Because I think this movie has like some genuinely like wonderful characters. They're very, very kind of simplistic. It's just like all in the like the wittiness of their lines and their delivery and the acting. I think it's just like a really, really charming movie.
The delivery in this movie, even as popular as this movie is, everyone's delivery I think is underrated.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Without the actor's delivery, none of this works. And that's kind of the genius of the most memorable Monty Python stuff, right? Like a lot of their best skits are John Cleese and I want to say is his name Eric Idle. I don't remember if that's actually the guy or not though. There's a lot of skits they do where it's just the two of them with a desk between them. They trade places on who was sitting behind the desk, but they're always having two different conversations that mesh because they're misunderstanding each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that is some of their most famous skits. They do several of them. And it's literally just two guys standing up in a room having a conversation, and it's some of their most memorable ones. Because of their delivery and the way that they talk. And, John Cleese, being very British, can talk very fast.
Yes, he can. He's a fucking master at that.
Yes, he is. So, and at that demeanor, so that's a lot of why I keep comparing this movie to anything Monty Python, because it's all in the delivery, and they all do it so deadpan at times and so straight faced.
Like, see, that's something
I have only ever seen Leslie Nielsen be better at that type thing. I've never seen anyone deliver their lines as well as Leslie Nielsen does in anything Leslie Nielsen.
It's actually one thing too that I think is underrated when you think about the way that like a Mel Brooks movie or this or like Monty Python sketches and like the Holy Grail. You think about like The Princess Bride and like Young Frankenstein and these types of movies where like the thing that sells it is everyone in the cast is on the same page about what the tone needs to be and what their delivery needs to be. That doesn't happen all the time because you and I have talked several times on the show about stuff we've recorded or stuff we've alluded to where it'll seem like 3/4 of the cast is on board and then you have a few people that seem like they're lost. Like no one is lost in Young Frankenstein. Like no one's lost in The Princess Bride. Like everyone is like a part of this like really cohesive tone, really just perfect deadpan delivery for stuff. And it just really boosts how much you can like the movie when everyone is kind of on the same page and there aren't those like standout people where it's just like you seem like you're in a different movie, you know, like there's none of that in here.
Well, something also like if you think about this type of movie now, we had actors at the time that were known for this sort of thing, right? Like, my God, think about Get Smart versus the remake movie Get Smart. Like it just doesn't work because that was a different style of comedy we don't do anymore. And you casted for it back then. You had actors that could do that type of comedy. And, you know, fucking Steve Carell is good, but he's not Maxwell Smart. You know,
he's not the same type. It's not the same type of comedy.
It's not the same type of comedy, but he was a name. That's the thing. So, you know.
They tried to like have their cake and eat it too, like with that movie. They tried to have it be like modern comedy half the time, and then the other half of it was kind of like shoehorning in that 60s-esque kind of tone.
I got paid to watch that movie, and I wanted to walk out.
It's like you either got to like buy wholly into it, or you know you can't at all. Because if you just kind of try to make it a hodgepodge, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, that movie did not know what it wanted to be at all. But
yeah, I remember when I watched it, you know, not hating it. But
here's the thing. It was very meh. And one of my favorite things you've ever said on a recording somewhere, I don't even remember which of the two podcasts it was, but the worst thing a movie can do, or any media really can do, is be meh. Because you don't even dislike it enough to dislike it, and you don't like it enough to like it.
It just fades away in your brain because there's nothing to cling on to, you know, like for good or, you know, for worse.
And that movie was very, very meh.
Yeah, it is. You know. It reminds me too, just kind of like slightly off topic, but that
dude, this whole podcast has been off topic.
True.
We talked about Thor: Love and Thunder for 20 minutes.
We really did.
Send in questions to screenplayrewind@gmail.com if you don't want us to talk about Thor: Love and Thunder for 20 minutes.
Or if you want to hear us talk for another 20 minutes about Thor: Love and Thunder, write in a question about Thor: Love and Thunder, because I'll talk about those goats.
I'll talk about the goats.
I'll make a whole separate podcast, goddamn Love and Thunder goats, because I love those things. I laughed like a fucking idiot. I laughed every time they fucking screamed on their way into the screen.
When he whistles for them in Zeus's court, and you just hear them getting closer from a distance. My absolute favorite one was that because it's black and white, you can't tell how far away that planet is. You have no perspective. And when they smash into it, and then like 2 seconds later, you hear the scream.
It's so awesome. I love those goddamn goats.
They literally give you time to go, oh, before you hear the.
Oh my
it's so good.
Goodness. I also found like a pretty funny bit of trivia. Rob Reiner is the voice of the rodents of unusual size in The Princess Bride, which is fucking awesome.
Of all the roles to give yourself, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's fucking genius. Yeah. So I'm glad that you liked it, and glad to have it on the show just to give me an excuse to watch it again, because I genuinely love this movie, and I think it's one that if you ever get around to like watching it again, I think you'll find yourself growing to like it even more, because you'll realize like the script is fucking incredible at how consistent it is, like from throughout the scenes of consistently bringing great one-liners, like great charisma with its actors, and it's just really, really strong, really consistent. And I think it works. I think it holds up really well, because some of these movies of this kind of type, like sometimes don't hold up, especially like like with like 80s classics, how like they can be kind of like hit or miss, I think.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes you go back and watch, you're just like, really, this is like what everyone's up put a fuss about. But I think this holds up pretty well. I think
another
really
reason why you couldn't make this movie today is look at what happened with, like, I don't even know what you call it now. They used to be just the scary movie franchise, but then they branched out to superhero movie and
the spoof movies.
Yeah, the spoof movies. Yeah. If you look at them compared to something like anything Mel Brooks did or whatever, like the people they hired because those people were characters or had a shtick, like they'd be Saturday Night Live people or something. Whereas, back in the days of Get Smart and Princess Bride and Monty Python movies and stuff, like you said, they're all on the same page. Everyone knows what the tone is. And I mean, my God, fucking Robin Wright is known for dramatic roles, and she's hilarious in this.
Yeah, it's crazy.
This movie is right up there with like Airplane and stuff, with everybody's playing it straight, right? Like, this is just the world. They're not trying to make it like, oh my God, those spoof movies.
Setback comedy, like 2 decades, how bad they were.
Yeah, the only thing, they were cheap to make too, so they kept cranking them out.
Oh man,
they only did one thing that ever made me laugh too. But the only thing that is missing from those movies is literally turning to the camera and winking. And I'm willing to bet they do it in at least one movie.
Yeah, probably more than once.
The only thing,
to be honest,
the only thing they ever did that made me laugh, and I hate myself for laughing at it. I hate myself for laughing at anything they did in those movies. But do you remember the Superman Returns trailer? Every single trailer had that shot of the bullet hitting his eye and flattening and bouncing off. And then in the superhero movie, he gets shot in the eye and he's like, oh God, oh my eye. And he like falls over backwards off the building.
That is a Family Guy joke. That's why it works. Like, that is a fucking Family Guy joke through and through.
Oh, it's a solid mass of metal. It's not liquid at all.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
But yeah, him getting shot in the eye and reacting to it actually made me laugh.
What was that? So there was even like a sub-level of comedic spoof movies that were even worse than like the scary movie ones.
Oh God, I can't
imagine. They were the ones by, do you remember they had the 300 spoof ones, like Meet the Spartans? You remember that?
No.
And that one was somehow even on like a tier below Scary Movie of being even fucking worse than that.
Did you know Scream's original title was Scary Movie? What a different world
right?
we would live in. But Scream also works as a parody name too, so that's probably what would have happened.
Probably.
But yeah.
Now they would have called like Scarier Movie or some stupid bullshit.
Scariest movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those movies made me sad, and if you got the short straw at work, that was what you were screening.
Yeah,
and it was awful.
Dude, it's kind of sad. How many times during a year, Ron, do you go out of your way to watch a recent release of a comedy? Hardly ever, right?
Yeah.
Because I find myself, I can't remember the last time I went out and sought out a specific comedy that was released like concurrently within the last like 5 years.
It's
the closest I will get is if it's something like a Shane Black, like The Nice Guys, like how it's technically a comedy, but it's also a drama at the same time, because it's a Shane Black movie. It has to be from a director that I respect, basically.
You can trace that back to, like you were saying, to like Scary Movie, because they were so bad, but they were so cheap to make. They cranked them out, and it set comedy back 20 years because they were all just people screaming, people falling down. It was very childish humor.
Yeah.
And what we don't get anymore, like on the surface, Airplane seems very childish and stupid, but if you actually sit down and watch that movie and think about what they're doing, the references they're making, how they're doing it, it's written so smart.
Yeah, it's really intelligent. It's like sleight of hand with how smart it is.
Yeah, and I mean, The Naked Gun, right? Hot Shots Part 2, like all those movies, they seem like a Looney Tune. But even if you look at Looney Tunes, they are written so smart. And that is what is missing now. But you're finding that in things like The Nice Guys. You're finding it where, these days we blur the lines between genres, right? Music does it, games do it, TV and movies do it. It used to be this movie is a drama, this movie is a romantic comedy, this movie is an action movie. You get stuff like one of the main things that I credit Independence Day for is that movie was like 1996. It's one of the first times that I remember a movie being drama, being comedy, having touches of romance here and there, being sci-fi action, just kind of blurring all the lines.
You know who is a modern person who I think really, really consistently like knocks it out of the park? That kind of like higher level comedy, even though it's kind of like spoofing of thing. Edgar Wright with like Shaun of the Dead and Scott Pilgrim. Like I think he really, really gets,
Did he do Baby Driver?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of those.
He puts the Asian in home invasion. That's the type of like next level Edgar Wright I'm fucking here for.
Yeah, that type of stuff though. Like I said, on the surface it seems really stupid, but if you actually sit back and think about it,
it's really smart.
It's really smart, and because like, why write an action movie and then write a comedy? Why not write an action comedy? Why not put some drama in it? I mean, you're getting auteurs now that do that type of thing that are making their vision, which is more. I mean, my God, if you just watch the trailer for Scott Pilgrim, it looks like the dumbest movie ever, but maybe it'll be fun. That movie is so smart.
That movie should not work, and it is fucking genius when you sit around and actually like kind of just figure out how it is so cohesive when it has no business working at all.
Chicken's not vegan?
It's milk and eggs, bitch.
The only other movie I've seen that guy in is Pacific Rim, by the way.
No vegan diet, no vegan powers.
He's like Mewtwo until they take his vegan powers. Oh my God.
I fucking adore Scott Pilgrim so much. How have I not had that on the show yet?
I don't know. I've been waiting for you to do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
One of these days, I'm gonna pull the trigger and get Baby Driver on here. I'm just not far enough away from the Kevin Spacey stuff yet.
I think he's in the movie like
he also groomed a child in the movie to be a thief.
That's true, but he's also like barely in the movie, really.
I think I could get past it if the movie wasn't literally about the fact that he groomed him to be a criminal, and Kevin Spacey's out there grooming people. Like I don't. That's the biggest hang up that I have with getting it on the show.
I still fucking love that movie though. I think it's basically like perfect. It is unfortunate, and that's unfortunate with like all of his stuff. Like Kevin Spacey used to be like a draw to a movie that you otherwise wouldn't be interested in, but just because he was so fucking good in it.
Don't care what people say about Superman Returns. I love that movie, and I love him as Lex Luthor.
Yeah, he's really good.
I really liked him. He's eccentric enough to be Lex Luthor easily.
I don't
and
love
there were
that
no
movie
Jolly
overall.
Ranchers.
That's true. I don't absolutely love that movie, but I do think it kind of got shat on too much. I do think it's kind of insane
how everyone was like, Brandon Routh is not Christopher Reeves. What the fuck? And then we get Henry Cavill and like, I want Christopher Reeves. Give me someone that is like Christopher Reeves.
It's like we just gave you that and you did nothing but complain.
You had that and you hated it. So here's this, and now you hate it.
The people that can never fucking be satisfied are Superman fans.
I know.
Like, there is nothing you can do that will make those people fucking happy. They will always find something to complain about.
Like, look,
it's insane.
I grew up watching George Reeves. I grew up watching Christopher Reeves. I grew up with the Fleischer cartoons, which are fucking gorgeous to this day. I showed Nathan and Haley some of them the other day.
They're amazing.
They are so gorgeous. My favorite one with the giant magnet pulling the meteor down to Earth, and he's flying up in the sky and punching the meteor. Oh, it's so beautiful. The
animation's so gorgeous. You can watch those on mute and just be like staring at it with your jaw open because it's so.
The meteor is not
amazing.
just a rock hurtling down; it's spinning, and it's spinning all this like fire and brimstone off of it across the screen. It fills the whole screen. It's so pretty to look at. It's gonna end the Earth, but it's so pretty to look at. Like most things in space. But yeah, it's so I grew up on Superman before I ever discovered Batman, and I like Superman 1 and 2. I've seen 3 and 4. I don't remember them. I know everyone says they're bad, but those are from Superman fans, and I can't trust them.
The fourth one is one of the worst
why they
movies
called it that.
The third one is also really bizarre. The third one has Richard Pryor in it, and a completely separate plot line that it feels like it's from a totally different movie.
Which one?
It's real bizarre.
Which one is not Bizarro?
That's 4. That's
okay. I like that one. I like that one a lot.
The only thing I remember about that one really
Atomic Man? Is that what they call him?
Is that the one where Christopher Reeve is in the bar with like the beard and he's just like depressed Superman? And it's kind of awesome. I think it's that one.
I know there's a scene in that movie where like Atomic Man like scratches him or something and he gets sick for the first time as he has no immune system. He's never needed one. So like there's this really dramatic scene when he gets beaten. It's like the first time he gets beaten in the movie. And they do it very soundly as well. There's this really awesome sequence where the camera just kind of hangs on a wide shot of New York in the background. And the foreground's the Statue of Liberty, and his cape is just dangling by itself off of the torch.
Nice.
It's a really beautiful shot. But then when he finally surfaces again, he's Clark Kent in his apartment, and he has like this terrible fever, and he's shivering and stuff because he's never been sick before, and he got beat so soundly he's sick now. He also does
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say they also do this thing where I feel like in the Christopher Reeve movies and in the George Reeves movies he solves every problem by being bulletproof and punching something really hard. And he actually does this really smart thing where he figures out Atomic Man is powered by the sun literally. Like Superman gets his powers from the nature of our sun, but he also still functions without the sun. He just doesn't have powers. Atomic Man shuts down when he's not in direct sunlight, and he traps Atomic Man in an elevator and flies the elevator to the dark side of the moon.
Nice.
Like, I was like, oh, he's fucking using his brain. He's supposed to be a genius because his synapses in his brain fire faster than a human's. But he always is, oh, I'm bulletproof. I punch this. I win. And
which is so funny because in Superman Returns, he literally doesn't punch a single thing the entire movie.
Dude, I don't care what anyone says. That plane crash sequence is fucking phenomenal. And that was in IMAX 3D.
Yeah, that scene was really well done.
I love that scene so much.
The only thing I don't like about the Christopher Reeve Superman movies is how the way they wrote it, it's like whatever jam he gets into, his powers can magically do the thing that he needs to do. It's like,
He's
he can
Zorro.
turn back time? He can turn back time. Oh, he needs to kiss Lois Lane to make her forget his identity and nothing else in her memory? Oh, he can do that. Oh, he needs his logo on his chest to be a murder
cellophane.
frisbee? It can do that.
Dude, okay, here's the thing. People complained that he's not realistic enough, and they made the Henry Cavill movies more realistic. And then they complained that they're not leaning into the fact that he is a god more. And I'm like, that's what they did with Christopher Reeves. He was literally a god. He had godlike powers.
Yeah, he is Jesus.
Yes.
In that movie. He can do whatever the fuck he wants with his magical fucking powers.
Okay, real quick.
It is really fucking dumb.
Real quick before we get off the Superman train, do you want to know what episode we just got to in Justice League? Because I've been showing Nathan and Haley BTOS and Justice League.
The Justice League cartoon Superman is my favorite Superman. That's I think
Same.
he is a perfect interpretation of that character. It's unfortunate
Dude.
in the first season that they realized, and the writers who actually talked about it later, like a commentary thing I watched. Or
you don't
read
need the Justice League if you have Superman.
Where the way that they established every single threat in the first season of that cartoon was Superman gets his ass kicked over and over and over again.
Dude, Thanos just beat the shit out of the Hulk.
And and everyone like realized that they had done that, and they were like, "Oh, we have to make Superman like cool and badass."
Okay, first off,
I still love him in that cartoon. He's my favorite version.
But before I tell you where we are, I have to tell you this, just to make your point. Superman, that speech he gives to Darkseid about how he lives in a cardboard universe
is fucking metal.
Do you remember that?
Yeah,
his slow badass walk to Darkseid, and he keeps talking about how he lives in a cardboard world and he can't barely touch anything. He's afraid to touch or interact with people and stuff. And then he walks right up to Darkseid and goes, "But you, big guy, you can take it, can't you?" And he fucking uppercuts him to orbit.
Fuck yeah, dude.
It goes Dragon Ball Z in that scene.
That's when they're fighting in like the abandoned city, right?
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah, it's badass.
But
I
you,
love that.
big guy, you can take it. Me and Nathan and Haley just got to when Lex Luthor is dying of cancer because it turns out kryptonite is toxic to humans just at a slower rate. Do you remember that? It's where he builds a meso.
I do, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I fucking love those episodes because like Lex Luthor is dying of cancer because of his own stupidity. This thing is radioactive. We know it's radioactive.
Yeah, and his own arrogance. He thought he could never be touched.
And he keeps blaming Superman for the fact that he's dying. Like, it's so good.
The emotional intelligence of those fucking cartoons, man. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
They're so good.
I don't remember how we got here, but we got to get off of this.
We've been on several random tangents. This one, but
here's the thing. Okay. You know why we've been on all these tangents? The Princess Bride. Go watch.
I have no notes.
Yeah, exactly. There's no notes. Like I said, my only problem I have with it is I saw Men in Tights first, and that is not the movie's fault.
Mm-mm.
I had 10 years in there to see this movie first. So, you know.
And it still held up, and it's still good.
And it still held up to the hype. What movie holds up to the hype? I literally told you not to listen to Guardians 3 hype when you went to go see it because it won't hold up to it.
Yeah, we didn't end up getting to go watch it, unfortunately, but I still need to, so I can talk to you about it. But yeah, let's get the fuck out of here before we go on another tangent because it's like a fucking time bomb right now.
Speaking of tangents.
I will do the sign off, and then I will turn it over to Ron to announce his next selection. Ron's first pick after Friends and Family Month. It's kind of crazy. We're back in control. I am scared.
I've been torn between two movies, and I know you like both of them. You've seen both of them, and I know you like both of them. So
all right. Let me do the plugs, then we'll announce it. If you would like to follow the show more, we are on Twitter at SPR Filmcast, where you can follow us for show updates and other stuff that we occasionally post until Twitter burns to the ground, which is probably any day now.
Tomorrow.
You can, if you want to have a tangent discussed by Ron and myself, email us, screenplayrewind@gmail.com.
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 I know those guys.
Merchandising.
Screenplay Rewind, the lunchbox.
The flamethrower. The kids love
the breakfast cereal. I think that's my favorite one because so many things became breakfast cereals that should not have been breakfast cereals. The flamethrower is good because it's the dial it to 11 thing, but the breakfast cereal I think makes me laugh harder than anything.
It's perfect.
Everything's a lunchbox, but there are so many things that became a breakfast cereal.
Ratings or reviews on whichever platform you found us on always helps us out. Share us out to your friends, and if you watched us on YouTube, drop a like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. Ron, what is going to be the next episode over?
So I had my movie originally picked out, then I watched this movie, and it made me think of another one. And I think I want to stay in the same vein, so I think I want to pick the second one. It's also on Disney Plus, and it is The Three Musketeers.
There you go. This is the Charlie Sheen one, right?
Yes, it's
okay.
Hang on, I am going to actually read off the cast real quick for anyone that is in doubt, because this is my favorite Three Musketeers movie. I think the whole reason I got really into the Three Musketeers is because of this movie. It's one of the earlier movies that I remember just watching on repeat. And
yeah, it's really strong.
It's what led me to go read the original, and I watch every Musketeers movie pretty much that comes out, and it's all because of this movie. Stephen Herrick directs. David Lowery writes, but listen to this cast. Aramis is Charlie Sheen. Athos is Kiefer Sutherland. D'Artagnan is Chris O'Donnell. Oliver Platt is my favorite character, Porthos. Tim Curry is Cardinal Richelieu.
Fuck yes, he is.
Right? Michael Wincott is Rochefort.
Oh, man.
Paul McGann is in the movie. Like, this movie.
Yeah, it's a wonderful cast.
This movie is my favorite interpretation of the story. It's that if you don't have Disney Plus, you can probably get a trial. But if you're looking it up in other places, I think it's available pretty much everywhere you can rent things. It's the 1993 Disney version of The Three Musketeers. It has a PG rating. I think today it would probably be PG-13. But, oh my God, it's so good. And it is the blueprint, in my opinion, for Pirates of the Caribbean. We'll talk about it when we
I can see that. I can see that, definitely. Yeah. You said it was on Disney Plus?
It is on Disney Plus. I looked it up before we started the show.
Sweet. All right. Yeah.
I didn't know it was on Disney Plus. I haven't found it on there yet, but yeah.
Yeah, I like that movie quite a bit, so I'm excited to have an excuse to check it out.
Oh, it's so good. And I loaned it to you, right? Didn't I? Is that the one I loaned you on DVD?
Yeah, you let me borrow it and I checked it out. Because I had I feel like I had probably seen it at some point in the 90s when I was younger, but I think I might have seen it when I was so young that I didn't really remember it, but when I watched it I liked it quite a bit.
I remember distinctly buying that DVD and then never opening it. I opened it to give it to you to watch because I was so scared it would not hold up to my memories of it that I couldn't bring myself to watch it. And
really?
And I had recommended it to you, and I literally tore the cellophane off before you came over and gave it to you. You were the only one that's ever used that DVD. And I remember you just telling you that I'm afraid to watch it because I loved this movie so much growing up. And I remember getting a text from you that just all it said was, it holds up. It didn't say anything else.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, I was the reason you watched it again because I told you, hey, it holds up. It's fucking good. Like, watch it. Like, and then you watched it, and then like it
was like 2 or 3 days later. I looked it up and watched it. But
yeah, and you kind of like fell in love with it all over again. If I recall,
pretty much. It was exactly the way I remembered it as a kid.
Yeah, that's always cool. Like, it is tough when you kind of like have to walk on eggshells with something you liked as a kid, and you're just like, man, am I gonna hate this? And then I'm just gonna be fucking bummed out because you realize like, man, I was really stupid as a child.
I have this movie on VHS at my parents' house, and that VHS is plumb wore out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm happy to see IMDb shows its popularity is rising currently.
Nice. It was like 94, right? I think that was like the year it came out.
93
the version, because there's been like fucking 23 Musketeers movies by now. They're
not all good.
Yeah,
they're not all good.
The only difference in the name a lot of the time is the year in which it came out. There's a bunch of the but yeah.
Is this?
Be sure to
let me see. There's this one that I remember. I saw it fairly recently. Is it this one? Is this the one with the airships? There's one that hit the Cardinal Richelieu's secret weapon. Yes, is the blimp.
Is that Christoph Waltz?
Yes, he's Cardinal Richelieu.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh boy, I did.
So it's the best movie of that year, and you definitely recommend it, right?
Milady de Winter was Mila Jovovich. That was really good. I remember that.
Interesting.
But Luke Evans was Aramis. He was really good.
I like Luke Evans a lot.
But Orlando Bloom was in it. Mads Mikkelsen was Rochefort. Christoph Waltz was Richelieu. The cast,
him as Rochefort is really good.
Dude, Christoph Waltz is Richelieu.
Yeah, they're like excellent casting. It just sounds like the script wasn't as up to par as it should have been.
It was Paul W.S. Anderson.
Yeah,
as the director.
Explosions.
Yeah, pretty much. And you know, things blew up really good. But
it's just usually in a really, really dumb situation when it's happening.
Yeah. So and
it's kind of like his forte.
Like I feel like Luke Evans keeps getting so close. Like he keeps getting big names. Like Three Musketeers is a major property. It bombs. Dracula. What was the Dracula movie he was in?
Dracula Untold.
Dracula. Yeah. I mean, come on. It's Dracula. Dracula always does well, right? It bombs. Everyone hates the Hobbit movies. He was in the Hobbit movies. Like he keeps getting so close.
Yeah. He had a pretty good run with the. Oh God. The Beauty and the Beast.
Everyone hates that movie except us.
I feel like even if you hate that movie, you gotta like at least like him. To me, he and what's his fuck?
Josh Gad.
Yeah. To me, they are what make that movie. To me,
Ray Stevenson was Porthos. I left that part out.
I think he just recently passed away, which is a real shame. I always liked Ray Stevenson a lot.
Oh yeah, May 21st, 58 years old. My God.
Yeah, it was a real bummer. You need to watch. Did you ever watch Punisher Warzone with him in it?
No.
That would be a good one. That is like a fucking Ron movie if there ever was one. I think you will fucking love Punisher Warzone because it is just like insane.
I hear it's really good, and
it is bonkers.
There was a podcast I was listening to where they were talking. I guess they're talking about it because he died.
Yeah, it was a shock because he was just in his like late 50s.
They were talking about it. He died while filming. Oh wow, that sucks. He was making a movie when he died. Anyways, they were talking about, and they said that it was the good one of the two Punisher movies, and I like that Thomas Jane movie, dude.
I like it too. I think people hate on it.
What's Foster's name? Is it Ben Foster?
Ben Foster.
Dude, when Will Patton just starts ripping out his fucking piercings. Like, my God.
The popsicle scene remains one of my favorite scenes in a comic book movie.
That's so good.
The popsicle scene is so good.
Anyway.
Love
Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
Good. Go watch.
It good. Go watch.
It's Disney Plus. You already have it. You know you do.
I think if you did a double feature of The Princess Bride and The Three Musketeers, that's a hell of a good afternoon.
I think my love affair with France is due to this movie. That's fair. I've been to France. I only got to go for 10 days, but I love the culture. I love the history, the food.
I would love to visit there. It's always one of my main attractions as far as like visiting.
I think
Europe and everything.
The main wanting to learn the language, everything I think stems from the Three Musketeers. I mean, I used to watch the Mouse. What was the Mickey Mouse one? It's not Mouseketeers. That's a different thing. That's like Mickey Mouse Club. What was the Three Musketeers Mickey did? And then there's the Tom and Jerry one where like his nephew, Jerry's nephew or something is there, and he's a Mouseketeer. His nephew, the gray mouse that's in the diaper. There's one where he just has the Musketeer hat and a rapier for no reason. He keeps sticking Tom with it.
Vaguely.
Yeah, all that stuff. I'm into all of it.
Yeah, there you go.
All for
Three Musketeers, go check it out. So you can follow along with us. And I don't think as far as like the schedule for when the episodes got changed, right? We just recorded this one in advance, but the schedule will remain the same, right?
Exactly. I will actually be on the plane back. I'm leaving in 2 days, but by the time this goes live, I will be on the plane coming back.
Okay, cool. All right, yeah, check that out on Disney Plus, so you can follow along with us in a couple of weeks whenever we drop the next episode. Thanks for listening and have a good night.